you're all feeling well. We're going to appreciate the natural look today. Hair's all over, no makeup on, but do we care? No, because why not? I'm just going to start off by saying this channel is all about positivity, happy vibes. I want people to come on here and for all their problems to just stop for 10 minutes and you just have a laugh. You have a laugh with me, you have a laugh at me making a tit of myself, and we just, you know, we share the positive vibes. But on today's video, I'm going to be touching on a really serious subject, and I have before, about mental health and how comments can really affect people and really, you know, tear them down. And I'll be honest, the past couple of weeks, I haven't been myself at all. I've felt really low, and what I want to do is I want to show people, I'm not doing it for any kind of attention at all, that's not what this channel is about. It's to show people that you're not alone. You're not, because people feel low. You know, you don't have to have it all together all the time. Like, I'm that type of person where I'm like, I've got to be happy all the time. I've got to be the one to make everyone feel happy and positive and all that, because life's too short and you should be happy 24/7. And in actual fact, that's not the case. You've got to let yourself have that bit of downtime and have that time to feel those emotions and to feel crap and to let yourself cry, because we're not built in that way. If the world was perfect, it'd be boring. And you've got to feel these emotions, you've got to feel these crappy, hard days for you to appreciate the people in your life and what you've got going in your life. And I just want to share that with everyone. So I've been watching numerous documentaries and I've came across 4 people's stories. So there's Felix, Jessie Nelson, Andrew, and I've wrote it down. I'm prepared, you see. And Lucy. And all these different stories, one consists of bullying, one consists of a workload. Jessie Nelson hasn't committed suicide, but it's her story of, you know, how hard life was and how upset she was and how down she was. Whereas the other 3 people have, 3 people? Oh, and there's Stefan as well. 3 people have unfortunately committed suicide, and I watched a documentary on it, and I just want to shine a light on it because it's such a serious thing and it's not talked about enough. And like I said, I've touched on it before in previous videos, and I just want to go into a little bit more detail. So in this video, I'm going to include clips, I'm going to go into a lot more detail, and if things like this really upset you and make you, you know, feel worse, I don't want you to watch the video, because this channel is about, you know, it's a positive channel. I don't want you to get up. You can obviously cry if you want to, because I did cry. My nose is really, really red. Bloody heck. But when I watched this documentary, I did cry, I'll be honest. But I want you to take a message from this, that please be careful what you say to people, please. Because that one comment can really, really wreck someone's life. And you know, just be really mindful of what people are going through, really mindful. And that's the message I want everyone to take from this video. It's not for any kind of attention, it's not for anything like that. I just want you to take a really strong message from it. And most importantly, enjoy the video, and yeah, thanks. I don't know what else to say, but I'm going to get into it more now. And I hope you're all safe and well. And I'm looking in the mirror. What? That's ridiculous. Why is that so red? Just gonna ignore that. So I've lost my page. Here we go. So the first time I'm going to talk about is in fact Jessie Nelson. So ages ago, about a year ago, around this time actually, I think. Was it around this time? No. Not last year, the year before, because I remember watching it in my granddad's. Jessie Nelson from Little Mix brought out a documentary all about the hate that she received. And I heard through the grapevine and stuff, like on social media, that she received like hate comments and stuff. X Factor actually brought out a clip of it and stuff like that. But I didn't think how it went into that much depth and how much hate she actually got. And it's awful. Because sometimes you look at celebrities and you look at, you know, influencers, people from bands and stuff like that, and you think, oh, they've got it together, they've got the life. Like the likes of, you know, influencers, pop stars, they've got it all. They've literally got it all. I was speaking to my friend the other day and she said to me, she went, I know I shouldn't, but I was looking at people on Instagram and I was comparing myself, and they were so amazing and they've got all this stuff at 20, and like, you know, I was really comparing my life to them. But you've got to understand, and as hard as it is, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Yeah, they could have the perfect life, but how much of that is actually true? Because when I watched Jessie Nelson's documentary, I was flabbergasted. I was so shocked, like how much she went through. Because when you look at people in pop bands and stuff, you think, oh, you yearn for it. You're like, I want that life. Like, oh my gosh, unreal. But actually, you think about it and you're like, it's shocking. I'm going to put a clip in of the documentary and you can see the type of stuff, what she went through. Like, the first night she won X Factor, like when it all began her career, something that should be such a happy, memorable, amazing time turned out to be one of the worst nights of her life. I'm going to put that clip in now.
The night we won X Factor, I think I had about 101 inbox messages on my Facebook, and the first one that come up was from some random man, and he was like, "You are the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. How on earth were you ever put in this girl band? You deserve to die." How have I just won the X Factor and all I want to do is just go back to my normal life? And I just was like, oh, there's nothing I can do about this now, I'm in it.
A little clip of the documentary, if you want to watch more, that's on BBC iPlayer. But I remember watching it and it's just so horrible, and that's going to link into Felix's story because he was a performer and he got bullied for that, and Jessie Nelson, she got bullied for it, and it's awful because literally, and I've had comments and stuff, and obviously not as severe as that, but you know, I've had comments thrown at me, and other YouTubers have, other performers have, actresses, actors, YouTubers, influencers, and Molly Mays came out and said that the abuse she used to get off Love Island, Sophie off Love Island, who sadly commits suicide, Caroline Flack, all these big name stars have went through it, and it's so upsetting because all they're doing is something they're passionate about. So why do they get ridiculed for it? Why do they get bullied for it? And it's just heartbreaking. So this is Felix's story. And years ago, he, you know, went to school, normal boy. And one day he was getting the train to school and this man was like, "You sure you're okay?" Like, she noticed something off with him. He was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm going to go to school, whatever." So then it gets to about 2 o'clock and he's not at school. So she rings his friend and asks, like, "Have you seen him?" His friend says, "Oh, he got off at a small village," and she remembers one of his other friends lives at this small village, so she contacted the friend. He's not at the house, and she had a sickening feeling because it'd been rumoured that he'd been bullied, but she'd asked him, she'd confronted him, but he just said everything was fine, and he actually quoted, "I'd never do it, I'm not brave enough, I'd never commit suicide," and the parents believed him. And in the YouTube clip that I'm going to show you, she's breaking her heart, and it's horrible to watch because, you know, when someone says, "I'd never do it, I'd never commit suicide," you know, people have got to be so brave to do something like that. Your initial thought is you believe them because you think, you know what, they're not going to. Because it's an awful thing to think that someone would want to take their own life. Like, it's horrible. And yes, I'm going to put that clip in now.
Talked about it, and he just said, "Oh, don't worry, Mum, I'd never commit suicide because I'm not brave enough." And I remember saying, "You know, you must always talk to me about it, and please don't ever do that."
An emotional clip, and I'm not doing this to, like, I don't want to upset anyone, but I do just think it's a tough subject to talk about, and it's not talked about enough. Like, I know I said it in my mental health documentary, and it's that phrase is thrown about, like, "Oh, it's not talked about enough." No, but it's actually not talked about enough. Like, it's such a massive thing at the moment, especially during lockdown. My friends who I've spoke to, and not even my friends, friends of friends, and you hear it out on the street, like, people have felt down, but it's such a throwaway comment, like, "I feel down," but actually, if someone around you says that, "I feel down," you think, "Oh, they'll be fine." But when in actual fact they are really down and, you know, they want to talk to people, but they don't have the courage to. So he used to just put up a front that he didn't care, and this went on for like 6 years, and he'd get called names like pathetic, loser, accused of lying, like small things that add up. And it was a site back in that time called Ask It site, and it started from there really. It was just like overwhelming comments got thrown at him, and he just socially isolated himself, like he just didn't have anyone at all. And it's so upsetting because the people you think that it wouldn't happen to, it does. And that's what you've got to be so mindful of, and you've just got to be so careful what you say to people, because that one comment, "Oh, you loser, you're pathetic," that's all they think about. "I'm pathetic, I'm a loser," da, da, da. Especially when they're getting it every single day, continuously. And it's it's horrible. So that's where Felix's and Jessie's sort of link in a bit, because it was both revolved around like performing, and you know, obviously tragically Felix lost his life. And it's just really, really upsetting. The next story I'm going to go on to is Lucy's story. So Lucy was a young nurse from, I don't know where from, I'll put a clip in. And she was a young nurse, you know, and she went to Liverpool, the uni in Liverpool, and she wanted to study to be a nurse. And her mum in the interview was saying that she thought she had it all together. You know, she had a boyfriend, she met a boyfriend in a night out, and he was a doctor, so they were both into the same things, and she genuinely thought she had everything fine. And then it got to, she broke up with a boyfriend, and she was working 2 jobs to fund the Liverpool, you know, uni, and the workload was getting too much, so she was having no sleep at all. She'd be working like full days, like 12-hour shifts, and then she'd be working at the hospital, what she loved to do, but then on top of that, 2 jobs. And you know, she broke up with a boyfriend and everything was just getting to her, and she opened up to her brother and she was saying, look, I feel down, you know, and her best friend in it says, you know, it's such a dark time that the family went through. And as much as it's absolutely awful for the person to go through, because obviously they're the ones who've committed suicide, they're the ones who felt so down, and that they've resulted in doing that. But sometimes I feel like we should have support for the family as well in the aftermath. So I'm going to put a clip in from what the best friend says, and you can just see how much pain it affected everyone.
This feeling, because it's a dark, dark feeling of losing your best friend, especially to suicide, especially not at this age. How do you cope? Like, what do you do? You don't know what to do.
So in that aspect, I feel like families and friends should have support too, as much as there's mental health charities out there for people who are actually going through the depression. Sometimes when someone's, I mean, I've known people who've committed suicide, and it's affected them so bad, and it's awful, like, to know that you couldn't do anything, because that was what the brother was saying. He was saying, like, we had talks, you know, she opened up to me, but there was nothing more I could have done, because when someone's got that in their mind, that's it, and it's so hard. And this links on to Stefan's story. Stefan was a go-lucky, happy personality, seemed to have it all, and he opened up to his best friend about having depression and stuff. And she said, I'm going to put another clip in, and she said that she noticed a lot of scars on him, and she knew he had a past, and she knew he had a past of depression, but she didn't know whether to ask him about the scars. And I've been in situations before where I've known people who've got scars, and sometimes, here's a question, do you ask about it? Because sometimes people are very much like, they don't want to talk about it, and it's very personal. And in this clip, this is what she says: do I talk about it? Like, I didn't know whether to ask him. And my advice is don't, because if they're willing to talk about it and they're willing to open up to you about it, then all fair, do that. But if you know they're a bit reluctant about it, then that's a pass they don't want to share with you just yet. And then once you get closer, or once they get more comfortable around you, then they'll tell you. But they might feel a bit pressured. So I'm going to put that clip in now.
He told me he had a history of depression. He had quite a lot of scars on his arms. And I remembered, I noticed them and never wanted to ask. And then I think he brought it up, and I said, oh, I didn't notice.
Be mindful about asking about people's, you know, pasts, or if they've got scars or anything like that. So the last story is about Andrew, and a couple of years ago, he was actually on the news. So he got all of his dreams. He got into Cambridge, he got into all these like amazing schools, and you know, he got A star, A star, A star, everything was going fab, and he went to Cambridge. So he got there, and it started going a bit sour and a bit downhill when the workload was just getting way too much. And it wasn't until a year in, and even his friend was suffering with mental health issues and depression, but she actually says in the documentary she never actually told him, and she wishes she had, because a problem halved is a problem solved. And if you're ever this is why I do this YouTube channel. If I talk to you about my issues and I say about my problems, you know, it's helping you, because you're not the only person. I promise you now, you're not the only person who's feeling crap or feeling down. There's so many other people out there who are feeling the same as you. So literally, open up to your friend, open up to your mum, open up to any member of your family, open up to a teacher, someone you feel comfortable with, because I guarantee they're either feeling the same or they just want to help you, and you will feel so much better for doing so. And the workload just got too much and it really, really stressed him out. And this one isn't anything to do with bullying or anything, but it actually really made me think. So what he said in the video, well, not his friend said, was it was just getting really, really too much, and it's a vicious cycle. So with society, you get yourself in a state because you've got this role to live up to, and you know, when do you get from being sad to depressed? Nobody actually knows, because you could be really sad that you're getting all this work and stuff like that and your mind is so all over the place. But when does it actually go from sad to depressed and like you're really, really down? And, you know, people don't often talk about things because they don't want to seem like a burden, or, you know, how do you cope? And you're falling, this was the quote that was used in the documentary, you're falling short of the image that people had. So he felt short for the image that people had for him. So, and it actually, if you really think about the words, so people had this image of him in their head. Well, this is what he thought, that he was going to go to Oxford, he was going to be really successful, and he was going to find it easy, and it was going to be a breeze. And he wanted to keep that image, what everyone was thinking, but in actual fact, he found it really, really difficult. And I want to shine a light on that, because with uni, and obviously I'm applying to drama school, it's hit my course very hard because it's such a competitive industry. It is with whatever you do, but applying to unis is so hard, and personal statements, it's such a stressful time, because at the ages of 17 and 18, you're expected to know what you want to do with your life. And then when you get a uni, it's frightening. It's so frightening. The fact that I'm moving away this year, away from my mum, away from home and my family, part of me is like, yes, get in, like, be independent, love my life, can't wait to get in my career. I'm frightened though, I'm leaving my best friends, you know, I'll see them most weekends, but my room, like, well, I've just done all my room and little things like that, and it's, you're starting new, you have to buy all these uni things, you have to save money, you have to fend for yourself, and it's a scary time. You're expected to grow up like that, and it is frightening, and people need to understand that. And there's a lot of support out there for things like that, so don't ever feel like you're alone. There's things on campus you can go to, there's people you can talk to help you with your financial state, or there's jobs you can even get on some uni sites. So don't ever feel like you're left short and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck, I'm on my own, because you're not, because we're all going through it and there is support out there, so don't feel like you're alone. And I watched it more, and the doctor said about him when he came in, the most confusing thing was he seemed so neutral and pleasant. And from the ages of 18 and over, you're legally, if you tell your doctor, look, I don't want it to go further, your doctor can't tell your family. And in a way, is that allowed? Is that morally right? So say if I went to my doctor, or someone I know went to their doctor and said, look, I'm really suicidal, don't know what to do, but don't tell my mum. That on the doctor, it's like a priest. If you go to reconciliation, they're not allowed to tell anyone. It's such a massive thing to hold on the shoulders, because how do you not know that they're not going to go home that night and commit that? You know, so it's really, really frightening. So should that rule change? If anyone comes to you saying they're suicidal, tell someone. If they tell you, don't tell anyone, tell someone. But don't make it out. Don't tell the person who you trust and who you know that'll sort it out immediately and get help. But don't spread it. I'm not saying don't spread it around, but, you know, seek advice from someone, because it's a massive thing to tell someone, and it's a massive thing to hold to yourself. So just always be mindful and always be careful. And the video I'm going to put in of this one is his brother, and this was a bit that really, really upset me. And the quote was, a successful life isn't about a Nobel Peace Prize or winning £10,000. It's about a successful life is enjoying it. And I want to put that clip in because I want to put that clip in at the end, because I think that's a nice little way to end the video. I just want to mention this other documentary that I watched, and I think she was called Jodie. And basically what happened is, about a couple of years ago, this woman used the NHS money to get her breasts enlarged, and she was the most hated woman in Britain apparently, because she used those benefits, what should have been used on people who are actually going through disability and who've actually got problems and stuff, and she used that to get breasts done and to gain money off it, because she wanted to be a page 3 girl and all this stuff. And it went viral and the whole country hated on her. And she had a manager, and when you watch the documentary, her and a manager fed off, you know, rumours and stuff to make themselves bigger, because her dream was to be Page Rigo. Really, when you look deep into it, the reason why she wanted to get a breast done was because she didn't have any tissue growing up in them at all, and she got bullied for it because she didn't have boobs and everything like that. And I can understand from the public's point of view why that could have been frustrating when she was using benefit money and she kept preying on the rumours and stuff and just making it worse for herself because she fed off the hate. But watching the documentary and seeing it from a different point of view did make me think, like, you've got to look at 2 points of view. And there's this one man on YouTube and Facebook. I've seen some of his videos. I think he's quite a funny, you know, TV presenter. Well, he's not really TV, but he's, you know, social. He's quite funny. But there was one thing that I noticed was he was absolutely slating into this woman. Really slating into her. And I can understand his point of view. I really, really can. But the documentary had like upbeat music behind it. And then he was proud watching it. I know what she's done is completely wrong. It is wrong because I can understand that point of view where she's feeding off the NHS money. Obviously, I'm not an adult, so I don't know, like, it could go deeper, or she's feeding off rumours and stuff like that. She's not helping herself. But then I can see the other point of view where she's a mother, she's got children, you know, she got bullied, and I can see that other point of view, and it is hard for her, and I can understand that because she's hated, like, and it's not nice at all. And whatever someone's done, you don't deserve that amount of hate on social media. That might be me being too nice, but I'm going to put the clip in and then you can decide whether it's bad or not.
You deserve to be shot with fucking hot race guns through your shit tits, and then it's silicone pulled out by tweezers and slapped around your fucking face.
I know a lot of people watching this would find that funny, especially as stereotypical as that this sounds, right? The lads watching it would probably find that funny, or girls as well, because immaturely the word tits are mentioned, so people giggle, right? But you've got to understand, this woman is getting it from everywhere, and she's not helping. And understand there's that side of she's not helping herself, but like when people are getting bullied and stuff like that, and then it comes out the amount of abuse that they've actually got, like, they're not helping towards that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that just makes the problem worse by reacting and having hate. I know I'm not going to stop cyberbullying overnight. I know I'm not. Like, I know. But it's difficult because when people are getting called slag and slut, like the names I've been called doing this channel, slag, slut, gimp, annoying, freak, weirdo, and, you know, especially, and this is going to sound really like, oh, Sophie, get a grip, but one, when it's girls, because it's like, it's just bitchy and it's horrible, because I'm that type of person where I want to be liked by everyone, and it's impossible. I'm not going to be liked by everyone, and I know I've got to take that on the chin, but it is difficult when boys as well do it, because, you know, it's not nice. It's not nice for a boy to be horrible. It's not. And it's as much as not nice for a girl, but when a boy calls me a gimp, or like a freak, or, yeah, TikToks are weird, or a YouTube's weird, stuff like that, all these comments build up and you just think, wow, it just takes all the confidence out, and you think, is that the reason I'm not getting boy attention? Is that the reason why people aren't talking to me? No, because I'm at that stage now where if you don't like what I'm doing, right, if you think I embarrass myself, if you think I'm a freak, I'm not that bothered, because I'm happy doing what I'm doing. And if someone sat there watching this now thinking, I want to go down YouTube, I want to start a TikTok, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I'm scared what she's going to say, I'm scared what he's going to say, stop it, because they don't define your life. You are you, and do what you want to do. And you know what, I might get grief, but at this point, I'm not bothered anymore, because you only live once. After listening and after watching all these documentaries about how hard some people have it and what hard things people are going through, life's too short. And if you're that type of person bullying people and being horrible to people, then you know what? You need to take a step back and really reevaluate your life, because you need to get with the modern times and just stop it. Because the more negativity you show to everyone, the world's just going to go tits up, and it will probably... You're not helping, because you're just going towards it. You're adding the fuel, really. Yeah. So just don't do it. And I know it's hard, like, I know it's easy for me to sit here and say, don't be bothered by it, because you're going to be bothered. I am. I get upset over it. I get down over it. But you just got to pick yourself up, because for every horrible, dark, upsetting day, There's 10 amazing ones. I promise you now, you've just got to keep going and get through. So I'm going to end this video with that quote. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you took a really strong message from this. And, you know, I'm sorry if I've upset you, but I just wanted to do something a bit more a touchy subject I wanted to shine a light on, and I wanted to do a bit more of a serious topic because we should talk about stuff like this more. I'm sending all my love. Thank you so much for your support. Hope you enjoy. Bye.
A successful life isn't a life where you're winning Nobel Prizes and getting hundreds of thousands of pounds. A successful life is a life you're enjoying.